That's a pretty weak point, isn't it? We heard him come back and say, well, Fianna Fáil don't have a projection, and either do Sinn Féin. The bottom line is he had the figures on the tax reduction package down pat, and he was very watery on the carbon tax projections.
Well, obviously the carbon or the climate change issue itself is becoming more and more to the fore, and the public are engaging with it more and more, particularly over the last 2 years.
Because we're so late, we're so behind the curve.
Look, the Taoiseach has admitted that. The Taoiseach has admitted that. But there's been a climate change committee, a joint Oireachtas committee now put in place to start examining these issues. I sit on that, and we are getting numbers of information, trying to navigate this and trying to put a report together. One of the solutions put in place is an action plan for climate change across a number of all the departments. Yeah. So each department can budget exactly or have set targets in place as to how they're going to reduce carbon.
Surely that should have been done 10 years ago.
Well, obviously 10 years ago, like 10 years ago was before my time, but yeah, we were grappling with economic recession. Yeah. We were grappling with the fact that the IMF were in. We were grappling with the fact, is the euro going to stay or what was happening? All these were taking political precedence. But I'm not taking back. I'm not taking away from the point.
I was the environment correspondent from 2001 for a decade. Okay. So when we were on the up, we weren't able to do anything climate change because you couldn't impact the economy. And when we were on the downturn, we couldn't do anything about climate change because we didn't have a bob. So there has been a collective, successive government failure to deal with this. And I think it was a bit cheeky for Leo Varadkar to stand up just at the end and he says, we're the only party ahead on climate change strategy. Really?
I mean,
we're so far behind.
You're getting a lot of flack in the studio.
No, that's okay. I have no problem taking that, and I understand the work that has been done. But to ask the question about 2008, on the political agendas at the time, the recession was taken absolute front and centre stage.
But I just want to ask you about that draft plan.
The media as well.
Can I ask you about the draft plan that is meant to be in place by the end of this year, enforced in 12 months' time? Is it anywhere near completion?
Well, obviously in the committee we're working as much as we can.
It's a yes or no, Tom
There's meetings going on twice a week at this stage, nearly, and continuing. Obviously we're trying to arrive at reports to advise on that. We're hoping as best we can to do that. As I said, we're being thrown with all this information.
So
I don't have an environmental background myself.
Right.
And I mean, and
will we have the report at the end of the year? We don't know.
As I said, we're still working towards our plan, which is January for completion.
Yeah, and in fairness, you're on the committee, and we're not laying all the blame at your door on this.
It's okay. I can take it. It's all right.
Incidentally, and then I want to move to the nurses.